Have I mentioned that I really like Dark Souls? So Dark Souls came out in 2011 as a sort of spiritual successor to Demon Souls, and it really took the world by storm. Demon Souls had been a bit of a cult success, whereas Dark Souls hit the mainstream straight away, pretty much on release day. I actually bought the game on release day, played it for about 10 hours, and then didn't play it for the better part of a year because I kept putting it aside for when I had a week off that I'd just go through it in one go. I didn't really think it was a game I should be playing in bits and pieces. Well, eventually I did get that week, and Dark Souls is an absolute masterpiece. It is probably the most gripping video game I've ever played. So what can I really say about Dark Souls that hasn't been said already? It's a third-person action-adventure RPG set in a dark fantasy universe. Well, I'm pretty sure that's been said already. Okay, let's look at this systematically. So first of all, the visuals. The game looks absolutely stunning. Yes, the textures and the lighting effects are all very, very beautiful, but more importantly, just the artistic direction in this game is a stroke of genius. The conceptual artists were nothing short of fantastic. The first time you walk into Darkroot Basin, or Darkroot Garden, you will be, certainly I was absolutely gobsmacked. The combination of all the ethereal lights and the lush and dense but really dark and forbidding foliage, combined with the enemy design for the enemies there, just creates this, it just pleases all the senses whilst at the same time filling you with a sense of dread. And that's really what the audio and visual and gameplay designs all blend together to do, is to fill you with a sense of despair and dread, and all these other negative things in this really weirdly enjoyable way. Because even when you're lying in bed at night at the end of a long day of playing Dark Souls, your mind will be buzzing with activity, thinking about it all, and you'll realise how the despair of that world has actually gotten right into you, and yet you want to go back the next day. It's ridiculous how Dark Souls can make you feel such negative things in such a positive way. It really is the ultimate cathartic experience. Aristotle would be proud. As I already hinted at, the audio is really good as well. It's very simple, there's not a huge amount going on, but everything, the clang of swords, the groans of dying enemies, all sound really, really good. The music is fantastic. It's like there's a conductor in your mind making the music change to suit the moment. It is that perfect. Not only is the music extremely good, it just fits so well and really complements the sense of dread and despair going through the entire game. The gameplay obviously is the most important thing. It is just flawless. It is meticulous, slow-paced, deliberate combat based on blocking and parrying and sidestepping and timing and picking your moments to strike. The boss fights obviously are a bit more fast-paced, a bit more frantic, and certainly a hell of a lot more epic. But overall, the combat it probably isn't realistic, but it feels so realistic. It feels like you're actually there in a sword fight. Obviously, yes, this game is difficult. It is so difficult at times, but it's rarely unfair. Yes, look, sometimes it is unfair. Sometimes you'll fall victim to strange hitboxes or weird collision detection, but overall, most of the time when you die, it's your fault. And it's really old school gameplay in many ways, insofar as it's about learning attack patterns, learning systems, and then sort of exploiting those systems. Once you get into the swing of Dark Souls, once you really get into it, it doesn't actually feel all that hard anymore. It just keeps you on your toes at all times. But the challenge of this game is really definitely one of the main draws of it. It's not for the faint of heart, but you do not need to be ultra hardcore to beat it. The storytelling in Dark Souls is kind of strange. It's really in the background a lot. That you're gonna get as much out of the story as you want to get out of the story. There is a huge lore here and a fantastic world that has been created, but really, if all you want to do is just run through the game, you only really have to pay attention to the story enough to know vaguely where to go next. I mean, personally, I actually was able to really enjoy the game, not knowing a lot about the story, not really following what was happening particularly well, but then I really enjoyed going onto the internet and watching lore videos and things, and finding out all that, and then realizing the significance. Oh, that's why that happened at that point. I actually really enjoyed, weirdly enough, experiencing the game and the story separately, and then on my next playthrough, I was able to appreciate the lore a lot more. Some people aren't going to like the unconventional storytelling, but first of all, the story itself is fantastic, and I actually applaud the attempt at unconventional storytelling methods. I love stories in games, and I love when they try something different. Like I said at the start, I really don't know what to say about Dark Souls. It is absolutely fantastic. The visuals are great, the audio is great, the combination of tense exploration with meticulous combat make the gameplay absolutely superb. But best of all, the best thing about Dark Souls is the fact that it is so deep, and it really infects your mind in a way that no other game has ever done before. The second I finished it, I did not leave my chair. I sat there, I watched the credits roll, and I started New Game Plus. I've never done that before. Dark Souls is an absolute masterpiece. Overall, I rate Dark Souls a 9 out of 10. To be quite honest with you, if it wasn't for the fact that I don't really believe in perfect scores, this would have gotten a perfect score. But yes, look, okay, there are some frame rate issues in Blighttown. There are some weird moments where you're going to be clipping through walls. There are some glitches. There are some bugs. The game is not completely flawless. But from a personal point of view, it's flawless. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I really don't feel I did Dark Souls justice in this review. There's so much to talk about, and it's really hard to talk about. It's really hard to explain why it's so good without playing it. I know that's a bit of a cop-out. I do feel that my written review, which once again, as always, I have linked in the description below to my blog, I feel that I did a slightly better job in that of explaining exactly why Dark Souls is so great, so please check it out. But if you've played it, you understand, and if you haven't, surely you don't need another person telling you how great it is and that you really should check it out. So again, thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.